Hey guys, this is a quick live demo of my thought process for how I approached the drawing aspect when doing keyframes for my animated short film. Alrighty, so because contrary to popular belief, my insanity does have its limits, instead of talking about every damn keyframe that I drew, I'm going to give you a live demo of sort of what my thought process was while drawing the key poses for this film. So before we even draw anything, we got to go over my setup. So I have my layers here on the right. I have a folder, and this is organized in the exact same way that the animation files were. So I have a layer for hair, which is H, expressions, the body and clothes, and then another layer for the tail because these characters are cats, so they have tails. Below that is a fill layer, so I can fill in a solid color, which will make coloring in the final colors easier later. And then I have a sketch layer. To demonstrate, I'm going to be drawing the iconic Sailor Moon pose, which I have a reference right here. Now, while you can't see it because it's on my second monitor, which I'm not recording, I do have a character turnaround or reference sheet of the character I'm drawing up. I'll put that on screen now so you can see what it looks like. But yeah, here we go. Alright, so we start here with our sketch, and we psych, yeah, no, I didn't stick with that. And that's okay, because that's where the experimentation happens, and you go through lots of iterations. So right here, we're mostly just doing blocking in, and the reason for that is that lets me understand the construction and kind of what the pose is to then later draw the character details and clothes and everything over it. Sometimes I would actually even skip this step because my sketches from the storyboards would actually be decent enough to work as a foundation. A couple things I'm focusing on is proportions. So is the elbow to the hand about the right size here, the circle for the head, and the other thing is gesture. This line here encapsulates probably like 2/3 of the pose, which is very important. Just continuing on, blocking things in, keeping it super simple. We got little notes like this arrow pointing out to show what direction the chest is facing, some cylinders for the legs, and I just keep going with that. And that is about the level of detail. I might do some cylinders, I might do some more stuff with the arms. For this, I just left it as just singular lines like a wireframe. But this is the foundations that the drawing will actually be made on. Also decided to do a fun thing to mirror the moon in the background of the Sailor Moon reference and have the tail kind of curl around the character, almost have the same composition as the moon in the back. Here I start to actually ink. This is what's going to be the actual illustration. I'm drawing an expression here. Now for the keyframes, I didn't draw the expressions. I'm going to go do that on a later pass, but since this is a little more of an illustration and I may not come back to it, I did do the expression. On to the clothes, and you see a lot of things going on where the form of that initial sketch is really informing my decisions here. You see the hoodie is, since it's a really baggy hoodie, it almost acts like a skirt here. It kind of is flowing around and conforming to the shape of the hips. Or this fold right here where the cloth is hanging down from the shoulder being raised up. Right here, this line right here. This embodies so much of this, probably embodies like 80% of my process for doing the cloth folds. Very loose lines, very implied detail, and very quickly done. These folds, all in here, is just one line, just one quick little squiggle. I did that as much as possible because I wanted it to feel very detailed, and a lot of the characters wear baggier clothes. I also wanted to make sure I was as efficient as possible with my sort of mileage, most amount of bang for your buck per line you draw, right? Here's another good place right here. So the cloth right here in the arm, it's actually hanging down. So this part up here doesn't really have any folds because it's all hanging down. So you can simplify that to just one line. For the knees, I really like to do this little triangle shape, and it kind of implies the form of where someone's kneecap is. This is, you notice this is very similar. If you see the red underneath it, this is very similar to just the construction sketch, just kind of a little more rounded out. Just a little more rounded out and less triangular. Now with the fur here, because this character is actually a Siamese cat, so they kind of look like they've been dipped in ink, so to differentiate the two fur colors, I had this kind of division here, I guess you would say. I have this sort of texture here. And this, since it actually wraps around the form of the character's leg, you can use that to your advantage and show that it actually is three-dimensional and exists in 3D space. Now here, really, this is really important. I actually messed up the dolphin shorts. So they were kind of up towards a angle little, if I go back. Come on, CapCut, you got this. They were sort of up like this, considering the perspective. Since right here is about eye level, everything from, say, the waist down should probably be angled downward and shouldn't be sticking up. Otherwise, it will kind of look warped. We got the hair cooking up, which is nice. These lines right here, these are really important. So the white fluff or the inside of the ear, I do that with two very quick lines, usually with your wrist. Normally I'd try to draw from my shoulder, but that has a very specific looseness and a very specific quickness that even some other parts of the drawings, while I am trying to go fast, doesn't have. It's not that squiggly. Here you can see me struggling with the tail before eventually, yeah, here we go. I decided I didn't want to do it manually. And I just have, you know, I'll explain how to do that afterwards, how you can get where you just draw one line and it automatically makes an outline on one side or the other. So I just decided to do that. Then we fix up the front. Now, once the line art is done, we go to just a flat fill with a color that will make coloring later easier. And it also lets you have a background at full opacity without bleeding through your character. So that's another reason why you have a fill. That was roughly the approach I took and the thought process behind the drawing of the individual keyframes as of now. Now, what was I drawing these keyframes for, you may ask? Well, I sort of have another video, which is an animatic, or the rough animation itself, which you can watch on my channel right now, actually. It just has placeholder audio, and with no voice acting, it's still just a work in progress or production materials, which differs from something like Epic the Musical, which, while are very often rough animatics, they're still very much meant to be finished. This is not like that. But if you are a nerd like me, who loves comparing how work-in-progress materials stack up to the final draft, you might like it. Also, if you want to know more about my film, you can check out the playlist in the description and the pinned comment. I have documented the whole process very extensively, so if you're interested in learning more about what I'm drawing or how the production is going, you can watch that. As promised, I'm going to show you how to automatically have an outline for your brushstroke in Clip Studio. So I'm here on a new project file. You're going to make a new layer and go to the Layer Properties window. If you don't have this and you hit it for some reason, you can go up here to Window and then like in the middle here, make sure layer property is checked. You should have it, but just in case you don't, that's how you get to it. Then you're gonna click this little circle up here, which is border effect, and here you'll have a couple options, the edge, so you can change like the color right here. This is how I did it in my drawing. So I have an outline, and you see it has the actual brushstroke, and then it has the outline on either side of it. And you can actually change, like, say, the thickness of it, and it will update in real time. And it will update the thickness for all of your brushstrokes as well, which is pretty cool. So you can just draw and then be like, maybe we'll bring that down a little bit, or bring it up a little bit. And you can also change the color, which will update in real time as well. That's really it. You can use this for animations or drawing, whatever. If you just want, you can do, I see a lot of people do like ladders this way, which is really nice. But yeah, have fun with that.